always has to be a shot at somebody.
I know.
They're never clean.
They have to run. That's the only shot they have.
They do it for 82 games. We're about to find out.
He already has shown what he's capable of.
Did surprise me. I thought we were going to hang in there.
This makes me think that we do need to be humble.
I actually think you're the only one who deserved that.
All right.
OG, baby.
It's Gelso.
OG.
It's Toscano. It's the big boss man in the building on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
He's smiling right now, folks, but there's not much to smile about after the Celtics. A drubbing. 128-101 loss to the Houston Imes, the Houston Rockets, the Houston Durants, the Houston, go down the line. This Houston Rockets team is stacked. They're
really good.
They are athletic. They are physical.
And here's
Joe Mazzulla. Let's talk to Joe as we get started.
Haven't had as many opportunities that we're excited about their potential chance for more minutes tonight. What did you see from that group in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, regardless if it's tonight or if it's 1 minute or if it's 3 minutes, they just have to continue to put great possessions together. Of the type of way that we want to play on the offensive end, and the execution and the effort that we have to play defensively. So. You take, Baylor obviously has gotten better and better. He had some good possessions last night against Maxey. And then you're able to see kind of how he played tonight. I thought Jordan, even though he's only had a minute and a half in the New Orleans game, minute and a half in the Cleveland game, plays really well. Tonight he did some good things. So just have to keep putting forth possessions so that we can continue to develop the way we want to play on both ends of the floor.
And with anyone who maybe it didn't go as they hoped, how much of their next opportunity is tied to how they respond to it compared to what you saw from them tonight?
Yeah, again, what matters is do they string together possessions, regardless of what, if it's at the beginning of the game, the end of the game, it really doesn't matter. They just got to string possessions the way we want to play and just continue to build that trust.
Joe, you said it, like sometimes it's just a team's night. They shot 65% from three. When that's happening, like, how does your coaching mindset change, if at all? Like, as that is happening, as the lead builds, like, what are you looking for from that point on once the game does get away?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're looking for ways to change the momentum of that, whether it's putting together a couple stops in a row, whether it's offensive rebounds. I felt like they did a good job of not allowing those momentum run opportunities. I think the one small one that we did, they kind of nipped it in the bud right there. So, they managed that well, and that's what you're looking for, though. Can you string together a 6-0 run, an 8-0 run? Can you get a couple of those to kind of shift the momentum?
Joe, they outshot you from the free throw line 35-7. That's 28 points. You lost by damn near 28 points. And it's becoming where the free throw disparity is piling up.
Yeah.
What can you do about that? Or
I want to talk about this,
officiating. Like, what's going on with not able to get to the free throw line, and then maybe the other team piling up free throws?
Well, I think, remember, we talked about that in the preseason. The free throw rate is going to be correlated to your turnover percentage, and so we forced 20 turnovers, right? So I think it's a combination of coaching the ones that you have to get better at, whether it's taking away an individual tendency, whether it's a bonus foul at the end of a quarter, whether it's because, we had a breakdown in our individual defense and we're going to protect the rim. You have to define those. So there's always going to be that correlation between your free throws and your turnovers with the way that you want to play from a physicality standpoint. Offensive, I think it's the one you can control more offensively is getting to the line more and combating it that way.
And are you just going to have to be resigned to the fact that your opponent's probably going to shoot more free throws than you are?
Jerry's trying hard.
I don't know if that's happened every game, but again, all we can coach is the free throw rate to the turnover percentage, because it's such a high valued opportunity of getting those. And you force 20 in a game, that's really good, right? But you have to coach the ones that you have to do better at. Whether it's, to me, it comes back to the ones when you foul on tendencies, you foul on jump shooters, you foul because of an individual defensive breakdown.
Final question, Noah.
Joe, obviously you want to see like rebounding defense from all these guys that are coming into the game. I'd imagine the criteria is pretty similar for Baylor in particular. Is there something that you're asking of him, or as a coach, or just hoping to see him do in his minutes?
I mean, I think he's done it. Again, I think in the Cleveland game, he had, whether it was 5 possessions, 2 possessions, it doesn't matter. Like, we just need possessions of execution of what we want done. So he had, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 possessions on Mitchell. He had 2 or 3 on Max the other night. Like, you just got to string together possessions of what we need and accomplish those and execute on those. And that just builds trust, and it builds discipline. It builds a habit. So he's bought into that of these are the things that we need you to do. And the points are obviously, that's a bonus, but the other stuff is way more important. And, he's continued to work at doing that.
Are you talking about specifically defensive possessions?
Defensive or crashing. I mean, he's gotten us offensive rebounds. He's forced, 3 turnovers a game in the last 2 games. Like, he's just doing all the things that help us win the shot margin and give us a chance and play to the way that we want to play. Thanks.
All right. That is Joe Mazzulla, Celtics head coach, after the Celtics drop 128-101. The 3-game losing streak is over. Some might call, the 3-game winning streak is over. Some might call this one a scheduled loss, Nick. Celtics coming back from Philly after a inspiring, hard-fought NBA Cup win against the Sixers last night, turning it around against a team that a lot of people think could be, an NBA title favorite here, contender certainly in the Houston Rockets. And you could tell one team is playing the second end of a back-to-back, and the other team isn't. That's not the only reason. I think Houston obviously has a ton of talent here. We talked about, obviously, you've got Durant. One of the most athletic guys in the league is Thompson for them, who's going up and down the court, throwing down dunks left and right, doing his thing. And mentioned it in the press conference there. Houston couldn't miss tonight from 3. Over 60% shooting. I think they said 66% from 3. It's hard to beat a team that's that lights out from beyond the arc. Nick, and everybody, welcome Nick Gelso to the show.
To the season, baby.
The pod father himself. Honored to have you with us tonight, Nick.
Thank you, Jimmy. I'm happy to be here, even though I think I heard you mention the in-season tournament.
I did.
We're not doing that this year, Jimmy. We're not playing Lakers, in-season tournament having meaning.
No, we are. That was my bold prediction, is that I think the Celtics are going to win. This is what teams do that don't really have championship aspirations, let's say.
Are we going to raise a banner?
I think they would raise a banner. I think they might put it somewhere.
That would be the end of me. I mean, I make cameos a couple times a season now. That would be the end of me if we hang in season. Anyway.
We'll take the wins where we can get them, okay?
Yeah, no, listen, Houston, man, they're the real deal, I think. I mean, hitting everything, spacing the floor, pacing, everything an Ime Udoka team should be. Right? Mm. And the Celtics made it even easier because they were not, especially off ball coverage was horrendous. I mean, the Celtics are disjointed. This is definitely it is a transition year for sure. You could hear it in the broadcast, even like Scal and Drew, the way they're approaching it. This season, Jimmy, what are they going to do? I mean, 40 wins. Well, what do you? I don't want to go. I don't ahead of your topics here. But.
No, I mean, we're not going to get into predictions for the season. When I think, depending on who you ask or how deep green your goggles are going to depend on where you think they're going to end up. But I think the Celtics team, I think they've shown you exactly who they are to start this season. They're a team that's going to surprise you on any given night. They're a team that's going to play hard. If they do play hard, they could surprise opposing teams. So it's like they're going to be a trap game for some teams coming in or if they're on the road, because they do have the talent where if, Brown and White could finally get going and Brown continues to kind of go in the right direction, they can play hard. They can play against teams and make things difficult. You're going to get nights like tonight, though, as well. You're going to get nights where they come out flat.
Jimmy,
they're playing against a clearly more talented team, and this is going to be the result. So you get a team that's slightly below 500 right now. that's had a couple of really fun big wins and a couple of really bad losses, right? So that's who this team is. Now, of course, every night's going to be a little bit different. Tonight, they mentioned it again. I think Gary brought it up in the press conference. The free throw discrepancy is really that's the main fact, not the only factor, but I would say the main difference when you look at, what really contributed to the Celtics trailing by 30 plus in this game. I mean, if you go down the line when you compare team stats, there's a lot of them are pretty close. So you've got assists, 24.
Yep.
Celtics 24 assists, Rockets 30. Go down the line, steals 9-6 in favor of the Celtics. Turnovers, Celtics had half the amount of turnovers as Houston, 10-20. Points in the paint, Celtics 44, Rockets 34. Second chance points, Celtics 21, Rockets 15. Fast break 13-15. So points off turnovers, Celtics won that by over double digits. So then you look at free throws, 35 attempts to 7 attempts. And it goes, if you watch the game, you can see the aggressiveness on both sides. You can see which teams are moving the ball around, getting to the lane, getting fouled, and ultimately getting to the line, controlling the pace of play that way a little bit more. And the Celtics are going to put up way more field goal attempts, 103 compared to 77. Houston didn't need 103. They're going on the line, they're hitting their threes. And the Celtics, they forced some extra turnovers, so they were able to get some additional attempts out of that, and obviously second chance points. Offensive rebounding was 14-12 in favor of the Celtics. So a lot of stats thrown your way, but the main one that stands out, of course, and it has been this year, the Celtics are dead last in free throw discrepancy, which means they're on the wrong side of it more than any other team in the NBA.
And they just don't play very physical. I mean, you could see how and that's not good when you don't have great shooting. So if you're not going to play, physical basketball or get in the paint, there were a couple bad calls I saw on Durant, but this was not an officiating thing tonight. It was just not.
I'm not blaming the officials.
No, I know.
We're not going to do it. We're not going to do a refs night, Nick.
No, and I'm not either. And I know you probably are shocked, but. But I mean, they don't play in the paint and they're not very physical, I mean, they've got to get out and run, I think. So, but what was the disparity? I think at halftime it was 18-2.
Yeah, I didn't see what the halftime was, but for sure. I mean, but it goes both ways. If you can't get stops on the defensive end, and if the Rockets are going to hit shots the way they were hitting them tonight, it's hard to get out in the run. It's hard to get out that way.
35-7.
Right. So, Houston shoots 54% from the field. Boston shoots 39% from the field. So, I mean, again, not a huge surprise. We know how good of a team Houston is. A lot of experts have them going the distance, coming out of the West. And you saw that on display tonight. They didn't even have Van Fleet with them, right? So a guy that's going to eventually make his return at some point in the year, later on. So these are teams right now this year. It could be different next year, but this year, these are teams with, probably I would say different levels of expectations and maybe different, aspirations in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
I would have liked to have seen Celtics compete a little bit harder. And again, taking into consideration they played last night, all those things.
Jimmy,
I still feel like the way
are you getting soft, man? If I hear you one more time, they play. What's the average age of this?
No,
team?
I'm just saying.
What is the average age of this team? 20? I mean, I don't even know these guys. I tuned in tonight and was trying. I had to go to Wikipedia to look up how you pronounce some of their names. How young are you? Back, bro? Come on.
It's not always just the age with them. It's honestly it's the experience. It's just the talent, Nick. You looked at up and down the Celtics roster. There are some players that you'll see played tonight that might not be playing, or most likely would not be playing on a number of teams across the NBA, especially teams, again, that have, playoff or championship aspirations. And that's what I think Mazzulla has been trying to figure out over the last few games is who are we going to ride with? Who makes the best starting five? Who are going to be my first 3 guys or only 3 guys at some point coming off the bench? And I think that's starting to take shape a little bit. You've got Minot in the starting lineup now. And obviously, Brown, Cato, White, Pritchard has been, who's in there currently. Question whether or not Pritchard should stay in the starting lineup or maybe be flipped with Simons. Pritchard ends up with 14 points tonight, 5 of 10 from the field, not bad, but 1 of 4 from 3. Still can't really get that 3-point shot down. It's been a struggle for him this year. And he's not the only guy who's been struggling. Derrick White has had a really tough start to his season in only 5 points tonight.
Yeah.
2 of 11 from the field and 1 of 5 from 3.
Disjointed.
Derrick White, I would say by far, is the biggest concern on this Celtics team to start the year. And I don't know if it has to do with a new role, a bigger role, teams zoning in on him a little bit more, focusing on him more, but he just cannot get going. Again, you see her on the screen there, 2 of 11 from the field, minus 20.
Jimmy.
If they, real quick though, if they can't get 20 plus minimum out of Derrick White nightly, it's going to be hard for them to win most games. And I mean, that's general. I mean, Derrick White's got to give you 20 plus points on average if you guys want to compete and figure out a way to hit 115 points a game, which they didn't, obviously.
I agree 100%. And to me, like this season, you're saying new role. It's not just new role; it's other people's role. Like who initiates the offense now? There's no Tatum, there's no Drew. I mean, just the way. I was watching how Jalen he passed the ball to Hugo in the corner. Mm-hmm. He had a good shot. He had a quick release, but the way Jalen set up the ball, it was so low to the ground. It was like it was hard for him to get into motion into his shot. My point here is guys like White who are used to motion coming off, in motion and shooting, they're used to getting the ball in a certain area. And when you have brand new point guard, your brand new 3 out of 4 teammates, it's going to take time, I think, for them to adjust. But people forget how important it is to have that kind of chemistry, especially for shooters like Derrick White. And he's got to go to the basket more, man, too. He has to create more opportunities at the line. That's what's going to get him more confident from the field to snap out of it, because he has been 5 points, man. That ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, Derrick White and Jaylen Brown combined 0 free throw attempts tonight. And again, I'm not saying that they didn't drive to the hoop, but if you watch the game, you saw them in the paint, you saw them making moves, but got to figure out a way to get, that's where you make the difference in these games, is getting to the line, chipping away at things that way. And again, instilling some sort of a physical presence and some, the ability to be able to score in different facets. And that's what we're used to with those two players, with Brown and White, is they can get you points all over the court, right? I mean, we obviously are accustomed to watching Derrick White just get crazy hot at points and just dropping threes left and right. And we know what Jaylen Brown can do, and he can score all over the court too on good nights. Again, tonight was not one of those nights, and they're your two leaders. And you've got Brown who gives you 12, and you've got White who gives you 5. I mean, it's no surprise that I'm surprised, to be honest, that they even hit the century mark with points. They got to 101.
I hate to do it, but it just shows how much attention Tatum draws when he's out there. How much that one guy impacts the game without taking a shot, really, just being on the floor. Because I'm going to be honest, we're transparent here at our network at CLNS. So I'm going to tell you, I haven't watched a hell of a lot of ball yet this year. I've been tuning in, tuning out. Tonight, knowing I was filling in, I really tuned in. So I think it's a fresh perspective on what they look like. And it's not a knock on this team as much as it is a compliment on Tatum, because he's missed, man. He is sorely missed. Guys like White are going to, and Brown is never going to be able to set up offense the way that Tatum can, nor absorb the defense and make plays the way that Tatum does, if that makes sense. And it's glaringly obvious tonight, having watched it. And I know we're talking White here. I'm not picking on Brown. To White, it's the same principle. You know, it's the same principle.
Yeah, I mean,
they miss that. I mean, you said it yourself, Jimmy. The attention that White is seeing now is off the
White
chart.
seeing it. I mean, I think Pritchard's seeing it a lot now in the starting lineup. He can't really get himself going, and the looks that he is missing. There's parts of it where he's just straight up missing, but I think generally speaking, being in a much different role now and sort of having a little bit more of a focus put on you, everything's harder. And, you know, I don't think it's a shock to say everything's harder without Tatum. I think we all assumed or knew that it would be. But now that you're seeing it in real time, you're getting a good idea of just how valuable he is when he's out there on the court, because he obviously does command such attention where it does allow guys to sneak open for a quicker, you know, just enough extra time to get the clean shot off, right? You know, you can't you can cheat a little bit more now if you're the opposing team.
And you said earlier, you know, the Celtics become the perfect trap team or foil team.
Yeah,
I think having lived through down years, many of them in the past, and we covered 2014, that was a shit year. People still come to TD Garden no matter how good or bad the Celtics are and want to fucking pounce on them. So, you know, don't think you're going to get, you know, a lot of lackadaisical teams coming in. They're going to want to pound. They're only 2 years removed from a championship. So other teams are still going to come in and they still have that game circled, whether Tatum
I don't know.
or not. I think so. I think
some
so.
do, some might, but I think teams know that this is not the same Celtics
Jimmy,
team, obviously, from 2 years ago.
Jimmy,
5 of the 8 guys aren't even on the team.
I agree, but when you also look at the fact that how many televised games do the Celtics have this year compared to 3/4 of the rest of the league? Well, players do care, though, man. When they're coming in to play, and whether it's the Celtics drawing the national audience, they care. They know those games that are going to be nationally televised. So just by default, you're going to get the opposition's best.
Not all those are legit nationally televised. It's like NBA TV or, you know,
I can't even figure out how to
Prime or whatever the hell else they're doing now.
This stuff now, man. I mean,
I have no idea. I just found out that ESPN's not on YouTube TV now.
I know because they're fighting with Disney.
I don't know what's going on, but I know one thing.
I just canceled.
I know regardless of if you can watch the game, you can always catch post-game, pre-game content coverage here at CLNS. We're killing it on the Celtics front, but the guys over on the Patriots side of things are having a monumental season. Taylor, Cadlick, the whole crew. We've got a whole Bedard, Giardi,
Andrew Callahan,
all those. As far as I'm concerned, Barth. I love Barth. From top to bottom, I don't know what company has better Patriots coverage than us.
Really is good.
I really don't.
I'm really proud of it.
You can sit down on Monday at 4:00 and just watch a full slate of coverage. It's unbelievable. So
I'm really proud of it.
Patriots, Falcons tomorrow at 1:00, and we'll obviously have you guys completely covered pregame, postgame there. So it's not all doom and gloom in Boston, right? The Patriots are on the up and up. Bruins won today. TBD on that squad, but Celtics are going to be a hit and miss type team.
Jimmy, they're going to be hit and miss, but you know what? They're going to give it effort. I mean, tonight you could have seen a little more effort. That's where the second night of the back-to-back with younger players. That's what the point you were making earlier. But for the most part, I think you're going to see effort. I just don't know who's going to run this offense, really. Who is supposed to run it? Because it can't be Jalen, man. That's not going to work. The last 2 games, he's had, I think, 11 turnovers. How many assists has he had? 8? I don't even know. I'm guessing, but it's something in that range.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take, bro.
I'm seeing we've got a Ime clip just loaded in. So let's see what old friend Ime Udoka had to say after this Celtics.
Obviously shooting 66% from 3 overall and 55 from the field is a great thing, 30 assists. So kind of set the tone in the first quarter with 11. And made the simple plays, showed the crowd. Other than I think we had too many turnovers. Obviously, 20 for 23 points, but outside of that, when we made the right pass, the simple play, we got wide open looks.
I mean, to get outscored in second chance points has been your calling card, and to commit too many turnovers, like you said, and still have such a balanced effort and such a commanding win. Is that encouraging?
Yeah, I mean, we saw in the first quarter we only had one offensive rebound, but we shot 70%. So we'll take that trade-off every time, making shots and not having the same opportunities. But one thing we did talk about was them getting long rebounds. They did it last night with 17 and had too many today with 14. So wings got to get back in, wings and guards get back in and crash and help the bigs out.
Ime seemed to do a great job on Tatum, making him more than forcing him to his left. What did you like about Ime's defensive effort tonight?
Yeah, he was just solid all around. He, to your point, kept him off the free throw line, 0 free throws, stayed down on fakes, and just stayed solid. And he has such quick feet and bounce off the floor. They can contest at a high rate, and so it was one of the main challenges. Him there, he took it, and to hold him to 12 points only and minus 20 was a big job for us tonight.
I think you found a good balance between having Albie facilitate and having the men and some other guys, like just kind of what you've been striving for all season.
Yeah, it's only going to get better, and after 5 games, you kind of start to see some things, some trends, but it's also the guys getting to know each other as well. And so when he leads the break, or if they're up pressuring, we want him to be a pressure release, and we can get into certain sets with that. And like I said, he's such a great facilitator and scorer that he's kind of a cross match on the court in all these different areas. And so, made the right pass. Almost had a triple double tonight. Made the right passes, and when the crowd's not there, he can go to work.
What enabled Jabari to be such a good defender tonight?
Yeah, we put him on the big and had Alpie off the ball. So, some of their bigs were either floating on the perimeter and the dunker, so he was right there to rotate and, had some huge
All
blocks.
right, I'm done with you, man.
Led to offense, but
He still does. He says a lot more than Joe does.
Yeah.
But so
Tell us why you got fired, or zip it, Ime.
well, no, but he's exhausting to listen to, though, isn't he? Because he's so monotone. But he
Yeah.
says so much more than Mazzulla says.
You know who's not monotone? Noah Dalzell joining the show. Famously optimistic Noah Dalzell. I would love to hear the spin on this one.
There's no spin.
There's no what? There's always a spin. But let's get your honest take on this thing that we just witnessed here at the TD Garden. What went wrong? Let's start there.
Yeah, I think Peyton Pritchard said it best after the game. Sometimes you just get popped. Like, I think that's kind of what this was. He said it wasn't even that the Rockets got caught fire, like they were leaving them open. They've had a tough schedule. They flew back last night, second night of a back-to-back, all that. But to be honest with you, I just think this is a really bad matchup too. It's probably the bottom 3 matchup for them in the league right now, just as far as the Rockets' size and length. And I don't know how it translates on television, but just being here, it looked like the Rockets were all giants compared
It translated. You saw it on
Yeah.
TV.
Kind of felt like a coach's media type game.
Yeah.
I saw some tweets saying that. So
Did you?
listen, I don't know that this would be the outcome of, if these teams faced off in a 7-game series. I don't think would be every game, but it'd probably be 1 or 2 of them because they have a strong size advantage. And it just wasn't the Celtics tonight. Like, nobody could really get anything going. The Rockets defense has been hot and cold this season, but tonight they were pretty locked down. So not too much to take away. I mean, it's just a bad loss. One of those, like, nobody really had anything to say post-game. That was the fastest post-game I think I've ever had covering this team.
That was really fast, yeah.
And I was already thinking, because I've been doing takeaways, from every single game so far. And Pritchard said there are no takeaways from this game. And I thought to myself, what does that mean for the podcast? I don't know.
Did we just lose Nick?
No, goodbye.
Nick, he can't wait to jump off, that guy.
But I would have loved to.
Yeah, we would have let's just chat for a minute, Nick. But no, Nick's the Podfather's got a million things going on. That's the one thing I know about Nick, but that's okay. No, we'll go back and forth here for a few. One of the things they did mention. Okay, so this is just a game that it sounds like they're going to throw it out. Is what I'm kind of gathering, and maybe that's the best thing they can do is just forget it ever happened. But as we're about 6 games in now, what are we 6 or 7 games in now? 7. Start to see some. I think we've seen enough where we could say, okay, this is looking like it might be a concern. This is looking like it might be a strength, or this player might be trending in the right direction or the wrong direction. I think we have a little bit of a sample size now.
Yeah.
So one of the things that going into this game we knew about the Celtics team is that they're dead last in free throw discrepancy, meaning they are on the short end of free throw attempts more than any other team in the league. Tonight was certainly no exception, 35-7. He's back. Nick, you're back. We thought you just.
I know. I wanted to log in so that way I could help you.
Oh, what a
Nick,
guy.
I thought you were just Irish exiting on us.
No.
I
thought
sure
it was like
he did.
not even a farewell. Just I'm out.
No, I will do that when Bobby gets here, probably, because I
Yeah,
don't know.
Bobby
Is
just
he
said he's
chasing Durant
Durant.
around?
He literally is. Yes, I think he said he followed into the bus.
Oh no!
I just
He's
asked Noah. If we've got enough sample size where we can start to see some trends and some going in the right direction, some going in the wrong direction. One of them tonight that they brought up was the free throw discrepancy with the Celtics team. Is that something that is just a fundamental issue they're going to deal with all year, or is that something that they can? Is it just personnel? Like, what is it?
So I think it's the loss that they're willing to take. So on the defensive end, the fouls they're getting called for, Joe Mazzulla, I thought, explained this pretty well to Gary post-game, but there's a certain loss that they're willing to take because they are getting steals and deflections, and I like their defense. Like, I do actually really like the scheme. It's incredibly fun to watch, and when it works, it really works, but it's going to result in more fouls. And the way that Joe has explained this to us is if it's a foul that could have resulted in a steal, that's an acceptable foul. Like, there was a good chance that was going to be a steal. You didn't get the steal. You got called for a foul. That's fine. It's all the other fouls that I think he wants to trim. And you saw some, Ugo's had a few of those. Chris Boucher had a few tonight, like fouling a jump shooter. Like, he explained this. But that's where they're going to have to get better, because those are not acceptable fouls. And those are going to be, continue to be issues for them. And I think as guys are playing out of position or, it's more likely that those are going to happen. Where I'm a little bit more alarmed is like their inability to draw fouls. Because I totally get cutting the, being like, okay, we're going to foul a lot. We're going to get a lot of steals. That's our identity. But you also want to get it on the other end. And so the problem right now is that, Tatum and Brown have always been the guys that are getting to the line. And Jalen's done a pretty good job. I think that, honestly, I feel like he's had a pretty tough whistle these last few games, not to be a homer, but I actually do think that they've missed some contact on him. But you don't have Tatum anymore. You don't have Porzingis, who was really good at getting to the line as well. He had kind of that sweep through move. So that's where I think they need to find ways to generate more points at the free throw line on their end. And whether that's something that can be changed or fixed or improved upon, TBD, but I don't really mind the fact they're fouling a lot for the most part.
Okay, so the fact that they're fouling is one half of it. What about the fact that maybe they're not getting fouled, or is it something that they can do physicality-wise, or what's that, Nick?
She said they're struggling to draw fouls. Exactly
I know, but what can they? Is it an aggressiveness thing? Is it style of play? Is it because they just want to take threes?
No, I understood you perfectly. Don't worry.
Sorry, I probably just missed.
No,
that
I mean,
part.
I didn't offer a solution. If he's wanting a solution, I didn't offer.
Yeah, give me the answer.
Circular.
Yeah,
it was circular.
I don't know.
Give me the answer. No, I'm kidding. I don't expect you to have the answer.
It's not. They were never a great. They were never a team that lived at the line, right? Like, that's stylistically been this team's identity. And now you lost some of your best foul drawers. I think Jalen has to make some money at the line. Like, I think that's going to have to be part of his game. If he can get 8-9 attempts a night, that would be ideal, and he hasn't the last few games here. But outside of that, I mean, I think there's been a couple instances that guys have just been not finishing super strong at the basket. Like, I just anecdotally can remember a couple times where Derrick White's avoiding contact, or Sam Hauser's taking a layup. He had one tonight where he's avoiding contact. So it's a little bit like maybe guys that aren't necessarily like trying to draw fouls, be more intentional about it, but I don't think they're going to get to the line a whole lot this year. That's just
Bobby Manning joining.
Okay,
that's a team that's not getting to the line is a team that's going to have a hard time. Scoring. Bobby, welcome to the show. Looking good. It looks like the beard might be coming back in. Or restarting a new beard. Okay. Well, there's a new losing streak starting, so love to see how long this one goes.
Want to try it again?
We just got Noah's take. We just got Noah's take on sort of the free throw discrepancy going on, Bobby. We're talking about trends here because we're 7 games in, starting to get a little bit of a sample size. Bobby is famous for small sample sizes, but we're now 7 games in. So maybe we can start to draw some actual information out of these things and trends going in the right way and in the wrong way. How about player wise? Derrick White continues to struggle, and he is my number one concern right now with this Celtics team, is that he has not really had a good game to date, and tonight was certainly no exception. 5 points. What was it? 2 of 11 from the field. I don't want to get the wrong numbers here, but just struggling. And are you hitting the panic button? Are we hitting the panic button on Derrick White?
I will say this. I'm not hitting the panic button, but we had this conversation a couple shows ago. Are you more concerned about Pritchard? Or are you more concerned about White? And I said Pritchard at the time because new role, new pressure. I feel like his role on this team changed more than anybody's in terms of the amount of workload he was taking on here. But, as I watch White night in and night out and the amount he has to do on this team, I think it actually is Derrick who's had to assume the most when it comes to what he's doing on offense now. And he's doing a ton defensively too, obviously, right? He's going to be now on this team one of the top defenders on opposing best players. And as we've talked about, they'll mix in a Minot and a Ugo to try to alleviate some of that. But I have to think that this is just adjusting to a new life in this offense. And that's not the whole story tonight. But I think that's generally been what's caused his struggles. Now, do you feel any different?
Yeah, I think Derrick has gotten disproportionately.
He has the most three-point attempts. Sorry, he has the most three-point attempts in the NBA, by the way. So it's a shot selection thing too, potentially.
He's missed the most by the NBA too, and I think
he's
Pritchard's
missing
number 2
badly. It
tonight.
seems.
So that's what I was gonna say. Is Derrick has missed many shots badly in the last few days. Like there were a couple of air balls last night. There were a couple shots that were way off tonight. If you're looking at his shot quality, I'm not 1,000% sure about this, but I feel pretty good about saying that he is getting tougher looks relative to last year compared to Peyton's shot quality relative to last year. Like, what was Peyton? I mean, Peyton was fine tonight. He was 5 of 10, but he's still not shooting great from 3, 1 of 4. But I just think Derrick's not getting clean looks really at all relative to what he was getting last year. And so, like, that's probably going to, just to be truthful, like I'm probably gonna have to rewatch this game just to confirm that. But that's the sense that I got tonight, is that he's just not getting anything easy. And for a guy to break out of a slump, you got to get some easy ones to just like see the ball go through the basket, and then maybe you can build from there. And he's shouldering a lot of responsibilities on both ends, and he's getting frustrated. You can see it on his face, and you could see it last night. You could see it again tonight. Like his body language is, he's kind of succumbing to it a little bit. It's not impacting like his effort or anything, but I'm a little concerned about just like the fact that they're not able to really get him going. And Jalen said it after the last game that that's something that, I think he was asked, like, how do you feel about where you guys are at 6 games in? And he was like, we got to get Derrick going. Like, that's going to be another level for us. So I think they're well aware that it's not just he's missing open shots. It's we need to find ways to get him going.
You know what I've noticed too, Noah? When he's at his best, he's getting downhill. He's having the center set screens from and catching some of those guys with lobs. I think like with the variety of centers he's had on this team since he got here, whether Rob or Porzingis or Luke, certainly, who he was effective playing pick and roll with. He's a pick and roll point guard, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I don't feel like we've seen him run a ton of pick and roll so far. He's been on the ball a lot, I feel like, but they're trying to push in transition. They've still been playing a lot of ISO in my eyes, even though the best ISO players on the team from a year ago aren't here anymore. And there have been some stagnant moments offensively. And I'll say this too, I don't think it's all on him because they are obviously playing with 2 bigs who aren't great floor spacers. These aren't guys who are spreading, the centers and other guys out to the perimeter. So I do have to think that there's probably not a ton of access to the rim either for him. We can go back and look at the film on that, but that's something else I suspect here that's preventing him from getting to his floater. He obviously has a very effective floater. His mid-range game is pretty too. But he, more than anyone on this team, is living and dying by the 3 right now. And that's
dying from it. Yeah.
That's what we got scared about a little bit with Pritchard, but credit to Pritchard, who's been able to, as we said last show, Jimmy, just get into the lane, bang guys out of the way, and honestly be a pretty lethal isolation scorer to begin this year. So I'm going to change my mind. You guys were right. I think there's more concern about Derrick to begin this year than there is for Peyton.
Yeah, we'll have to just see how some of that stuff shakes out down as the season continues on. But we know that White can be a bit of a streaky player too. We've seen him get into these slumps before, and I don't know how much of it is mental, right? I think sometimes he can maybe get into his head a little bit about stuff. So hopefully that he can get himself right, because they're gonna. I was saying this with Nick. I mean, you kind of need minimum 20 points from White like every game if you want to be competitive. You know, it's Brown and White are the two-headed monster here, and everybody else you're going to get contributions from, but they need to be your dependable, consistent scorers, shooters, stars on this team. My bold prediction of Derrick White All-NBA is not getting off to the best start, but there's still plenty of time to go here. So I want to, speaking of All-NBA, I want to play a little post-game clip from Kevin Durant here. I believe Bobby was in on this. Is that accurate, Bobby?
Yeah, I caught up with Durant on just Achilles stuff, right? He went through the injury.
Yep.
Tatum's going through it now. Like, what's his perspective on all that?
Sure. Let's hear from Kevin Durant, see what he has to say.
In a row that all starters scored in double figures. Do you feel like the offense is really starting to gel now?
It's tough to balance out. I mean, it's a lot on your body physically and mentally to guard the best player and then try to set up the whole team, But Twin is just a humble soul who was willing to do whatever for the team, and any time coach, calls upon him to do anything, he's ready to do it, and we got to be supporting him as well. So when he gets the ball at the point guard and he creates for us, we got to be able to knock those shots down and then help him on defense as well. Sometimes he's going to need help on these guys. They're great scorers, but overall, he's done such a great job.
What the hell are we talking about?
Jabari tied a career high in blocks. What did you see from Jabari?
I had no idea, too.
Man, that was incredible. I feel like every one of those.
He was talking about Amen Thompson.
Highlight plays at the rim. I think
Twin.
Everybody's just.
That's when I start calling Jimmy. Hey, Twin.
Please don't.
Are you twin?
Continue to build on it. That was just
no.
All those plays.
Certainly not Bobby's twin either.
That's the type of stuff we need going forward.
Wow. Jason's obviously going through the Achilles recovery. What's he up against here? I think he's 5-6 months out. Looks like he's dunking, getting up and down the court. Like, where were you at that stage?
I think he's 5-6 months in. I wouldn't say I felt that confident to dunk the ball. I don't remember if I was that far along in my journey, but medicine has advanced so much since I had Achilles, and Jayson looks like he's just killing the rehab, and he looks great. I mean, I don't see a limp. I don't see, for somebody that just had an Achilles surgery in the playoffs, I mean, he looks amazing. So hopefully, he continue to progress and he gets better and get back on the court soon. And the game misses him, the NBA misses him. All-world talent, man. So looking forward to having him back on the floor.
He wants to come back this season. How feasible is that, you think, based on your experience?
I think it's feasible, but I think it's good to have that option on the table to know that he can come back. But it's such a long ways away from now. I feel like just taking it day by day and see what happens with the team, see what happens with his body, and make a decision at a later date. But it's cool to keep it open, I guess, to play. And he just loves to play, man. He's a gamer. He loves the hoop. So I'm sure if he can get out there, no matter what the team's record is, no matter what, he's gonna get out there to play. So we all can't wait to see him out there again.
How much have you talked to him just during this process?
I think a couple times. I ran into him a couple times, but that's one of these experiences you gotta just go through on your own. You can get as much advice as you want, but it's just you out there, and that when you're rehabbing, you got somebody there telling you what to do, but it's you out there putting them reps in. So you focus on yourself and not try to get too much advice from people. Just kind of go through it on his own, and that's what it seems like he's doing, and he's in a good space.
When you first got on the court after, what's the hardest part in those first games, first practices back, whatever it might be?
Just the speed of the game, to be honest. Just pace is something that you develop over time as you get more experience in the league, and then being out for a whole year, you kind of miss that pace of the game. So when I first came back, everything was fast. I was coming off a pin down 100 miles an hour. I was trying to score so fast. I was trying to contest shots and without slowing down. So it's a lot of stuff you just got to get used to. But I feel like the pace is the biggest thing, and once you understand the flow of the game, and everything else comes pretty easy for you.
Man, I love him.
Do you?
He's great,
You know what?
man. Like
You know what I love?
his
Prize
game's
Picks.
obviously great.
We're going to do a
you'll
quick
get to
Prize
what I
Picks
had to
read,
say.
and then we'll get into
Good
your love.
timing, Jimmy. Right in
We'll
the
get into
middle
your
of
love for Durant.
Yeah.
How about that? This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Amit, hit me with the B-roll, buddy.
Why don't you take Durant on Prize Picks?
You should. But we're going to talk football. How about that? Because tomorrow's Sunday. So the hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather is changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. I'm doing more on Drake May, like every chance I can get, by the way. Pats are looking good. Game tomorrow against Atlanta. They're rolling. Some people think the Pats and May might be all of a sudden sneaky Super Bowl sneaky Super Bowl favorite here. I mean, it might sound crazy, but you just don't know. So check out Prize Picks, pick, predict, play. You play $5, get $50 instantly. It's the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Drake May's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup, only on Prize Picks. How you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose Flex Play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play, no matter your play. Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. Download Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And I hope, guys, that Kevin Durant is right about Jayson Tatum and his recovery so far.
You knew what you were doing.
I knew exactly where I was going with it, Bobby. And I guess we'll send it over to you, Bobby, so you can profess your love here. And, do you feel better about Tatum's situation, knowing that, Durant has been able to recover it and he's still going strong at 37 here. And he feels that sounds like Tatum's maybe on a quicker path to recovery than he was. Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's the big thing. And there were a couple of things I took from this. I got to talk to him a little more after the video.
Yeah, we heard you stalked him all the way out. We heard.
That's how you do it, right? But man, he's great. That's how he gave a lot of good insight on a number of fronts. And obviously, to throw it back to Durant, he tore his Achilles during the finals, if you all remember, 2019 Warriors Raptors, and missed the entire next season, which was the 2020 year that got postponed with the bubble. That added a couple months for him to recover, and then he didn't go to the bubble. So that didn't, that it just extended the layoff until the following season, where he returned and, eased into things a little bit before he was himself again in 2024. So he missed like 15 months, I believe, if I remember correctly, before he returned again, and then played 35 games in 2021, which obviously started early. So his timing was really weird just because of the COVID seasons. So it's tough to compare for that reason. He got his surgery pretty quickly after. I don't know if you can Google it. No, I wasn't able to, in the second I got on here, but
Durant got it like 3 days after. Tatum's like the only guy that's had that turnaround. I looked into
what we call it, the bridge something or other.
And then I was going to get to. So Durant said he heard that Lillard and Tatum got like a newer procedure, and obviously I've heard that Tatum might have gotten the speed bridge thing as well, which they're doing more often now with Achilles surgeries. Durant did not get it. That he knew for sure. They had to open him way up, he said. Like it was a much more invasive surgery back then, and now it's more minimally invasive with this new procedure that they're doing now. So that's another thing working in Tatum's favor. And, along with all the reporting Noah's done on this of like the timeline, and I know she has some more to come, I think this is all building up toward this being a circumstance with Tatum's age, the procedure he potentially got here, and the timing of the surgery, where there's just nothing to compare this to. And this could be the quickest comeback from an Achilles tear in NBA history. Now, he also obviously discussed what it's like coming back from that too. not having your speed, not being able to do all the things you normally can, and getting used to that speed of the game. And you've talked a lot about this, Noah, that whether he comes back in February, March, April, or next season, whenever he comes back, he's not going to be quite the same Tatum that he was before. So this stuff's all good. Durant's obviously the model for this, right? He has maybe the greatest Achilles recovery ever. And for Tatum, seemingly with all four of these things, Durant's comment, the timing of the surgery, the procedure itself, and there was one other thing, but I forget. This is all shaping up to be an unprecedented recovery. And so we don't know, right? I asked him there, like, do you feel like he could come back this year? And he said it all depends on a million different things. We're nowhere close to that point yet. Even like you've said, Noah, the dunking and the running and all that stuff, like it's not abnormal to be doing that at this stage. So all we have right now are just really, really good signs. And it's better to have really, really good signs than no idea where this is going. I don't know if that means he's going to be back in February, March, or April, but I love what I'm hearing right now.
Yeah. Well, two things. One, I think Durant's demeanor, and obviously he's a good friend of Tatum's. They've been Olympic teammates and all that. Everybody knows that. It kind of aligns with what Tatum said to me earlier. Is that this week? Yeah, earlier this week. Wow. Around like it being a goal and it being something that he's going for. I think he just wants it to be on the table. Like he doesn't want to be incapable of coming back this year. That's the sense that I'm getting. So it just doesn't mean that he's going to come back, but he wants to be in position to say, am I or am I not going to come back? And I think that's what Durant was kind of alluding to there, that it's just good to have that option. And then obviously he's going to want to come back and he's a gamer and all that. And that we know, right? The other thing is, this is maybe a little bit unhinged of me to say, but the Celtics have this like bobblehead thing where they have a couple different dates. Did you guys see this? Did you guys get this press release?
Whoa.
Did you guys see this? Okay, I'm a little delirious to bring this up.
Get the report. Oh,
Ava, do not clip this.
I got the report banner. This is going on Celtics CLNS.
What do we got?
April 7th is Jayson Tatum. Okay, please. Jayson Tatum bobblehead night is April 7th.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I saw that earlier. I thought to myself,
just he can't miss his bobblehead.
Live look at Noah right now with the with the
I'm like
windy.
looking at my email to make sure I even got this right.
There's zero chance he's gonna miss.
Everybody knows that.
Listen, it's the Legendary Moments campaign, and to celebrate the legendary moments, Jaylen Brown is January 30th, and Jayson Tatum is April 7th. So
very interesting.
You heard it here first. Jayson Tatum comes back April 7th, just in time for his bobblehead night.
That's getting clipped. Thank you, Amit. That'll be the report, lower third. Listen, everybody knows that if you're having a bobblehead night, like you do whatever it takes to be available that night.
Out there.
You recover from that potentially career-altering injury.
Oh, yeah.
And even if you're not recovered,
and it's limited edition bobbleheads.
Exactly. Listen, I'm all for it. I love that take. I did find it interesting. And by the way, Noah, I agree with you completely in the way that you kind of, I think, see why Tatum's keeping the option open. Like, I agree. I think that it's good to have that mentality. Like, I want to be able to do what I can to put myself in a position to come back that year. I do think that's what it's about. But even Durant was hesitant to say that, like, he should come back. You know, it's like, well, see where the team's at, see where your health's at, all these little.
I find that so interesting. He did say, like, where's the team at? No, and I've been so torn on that one because I feel like that was the first thing I thought when we said, okay, maybe he'll come back this year. If they're out of it, maybe wait till next year. If they're in it, you can come back and compliment a playoff run. And then the more and more I thought of it, I'm like, why does that matter? Just come back when you're ready, regardless of where the team's at. But I keep hearing that, like, where's the team going to be at that point? Does that factor in whether or not he returns this year? Like, where are you on that?
I don't think it really factors in because, to be honest, like, I think the most optimistic Celtics fan visual is like Tatum comes back. They're already like a 5th seed, and then maybe he comes back and makes that playoff push. Even me, I don't think that's going to happen. I think for him to come back is going to be more to check the box of having done so and to help the mental hurdle of being 100% ready to go next year. So his recovery to me is all centered around next season, and it's going to come down to whether or not coming back for a bit of this season is going to help him next season or hurt him. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but that's the calculus he's going to have to make. So I don't think the team's standing is going to make that much of a difference because they could be a tanking team, but if he wants to come back and get some run, maybe he'll do that.
Well, let me play devil's advocate. Why would Durant bring it up if that's not something that players, I imagine,
maybe it's
that
something
must
he
be
thinks about.
Yeah, but if it's something he thinks about, I would imagine a lot of the players probably think in unison in that sense where it's like, okay, well, he's certainly not going to – I would agree with you guys in this. I don't think he comes back any sooner if the team is in playoff contention or not. But what I do think is that he might just say, well, it's not worth – I mean, they shut players down for a lot worse. I mean, for a lot less, I should say, when teams are out of – playoff contention, right? So we've seen that happen.
If it's close, maybe you say, all right, like there's 2 games left. We're not in it. Why do this now? Like there's no point. Now, you're going to have to get that game live action in at some point. So, I know when we had Corrales on the show, he was a big proponent of that. Like, why not get it out of the way now rather than later? But there's also no expectations with the training camp ramp up and, the practices leading into opening night. Like, someone said this recently. I wish I knew who to credit with this. Maybe it was you because it's such a great take.
Wow.
There'll be no pressure. There'll be no pressure for him if he just waits till next year because it'll be like, all right, Tatum's back. He's in camp. He's going through practices, and then he plays in the first game. Like there won't be a lot of hoopla for that. Obviously, it'll be Tatum's first game back, and there'll be a lot of excitement about it. But there is a lot more pressure with
his return will coincide with the rest of
the
season return. Yeah.
I can see I didn't say that, but I can see the reverse of that take too, Bobby, because in a way, if you're coming back and you're the only guy of the trio of guys that tore their Achilles in the playoffs to make it back, there's a bunch of buzz around it, but there's also an understanding that you're not going to be 100% yourself at this point. You only have 10 games left to play. You're playing 15 minutes a night. Like there's also less pressure there. You come back next fall.
You know how it goes, though. He comes back and really struggles.
Yeah, I mean, when he struggles, regardless of when he struggles, there's going to be a ton of noise, regardless of whether that's now or then. So, I don't know. We're so far away from it, but I do think that it's clear from this, Durant soundbite and just in general that that's where his mindset's at right now is that he still wants to make this a reality. And I've rewatched his answer to my question a bunch of times just to kind of like read his body language. And I think he doesn't want this to be a thing that's like he's teasing everybody that he's going to come back, but at the same time, like, he's not going to rule it out. And he's going to. I know why you're laughing. Can I respond? Or do you want to say your points?
You know what I was going to say.
He's going to put out those videos and everything because he's selling a freaking sneaker.
Right.
I think any question around like why is he putting those videos out, because he's selling the Tatum 4s, and so he wants that's great advertising.
It's business.
Like, look, he's dunking, but got to be the shoes. So if the shoes weren't in play, I don't know how. And so is Halliburton. Like these guys are selling sneakers. They're off the court. It's not good for business.
There's some element though of I'm still here. I'm coming.
Sure.
Don't forget about me to that too, right? And then obviously there
part
was
of that could be because of your own ego, but also like he's a multi-million dollar business, and all of his advertisers and everything want him to stay at the forefront, right?
Exactly. So, that's exactly what it is. You can't just disappear because you are your own business, right?
You would buy the if he was disappeared right now and he was nowhere to be found, he's not active online. Like the Tatum 4s are tanking. And instead, I think he's actually, I don't even remember the Tatum 3 rollout, to be honest. This to me is a more memorable rollout because it's like he's, we're seeing bits and pieces of his game. Like I think from a marketing standpoint, he's done a great job at that. So I don't know that we have enough, like because of the nature of this, it's hard to be like, oh, he wants us to talk about this right now. I actually think he probably doesn't want this to be the segment right now. The same way that he probably didn't want me to ask about it. What?
It wasn't great marketing for the shoes.
What?
Oh,
the media game.
You wearing them in the media game? Yeah, I told him that too when I interviewed him. Sorry.
Oh, you wore him?
I was wearing his shoes in the media game, and it wasn't good. It wasn't a good look, But someone was wearing the 741s too, so it wasn't personal.
All right.
I'll say this though: there was a report, and we're always kind of tracing back where those reports come from. The Shams one that he informed the Celtics that he wants to play this year. Like that, to me, also is another indication of him pushing for this. And if that's just motivation, we've had this debate nonstop, right? Is this like the carrot in front of him that he's using to get up every day and go as hard as he can because he's aiming at the end of the season to have that be his goal rather than saying, I got a ton of time until next fall and taking it a little slower. That's fine if that's what that is. But I do
not reacting
believe
to
that
Shams reports anymore. Shams reports.
You're not?
I'm announcing this on the show. Yeah.
Good.
He doesn't.
I stand in
it's
unison
been-
with you.
To be honest with you.
But where do
like,
you think that comes from, Noah?
I'm only reacting
I
to
think
Noah reports and Bobby reports. That's it.
Yeah.
It ends there. It
If I
starts and
can't
ends there.
confirm his reporting, I don't want to talk about it because I think he says things. This is like not even hate to Shams. Is it Shams or Shams? I'm like forgetting now.
Who cares?
I want to respect
Shams.
Shams. I think, to be honest with you, like I feel like he has to just fill space a lot of times on these network television, especially now that he's on ESPN. And so often
Sure.
I look at the aggregation machine around stuff he says, and then I go to the original thing that he said, and the original thing that he said is like, Tatum might want to come back. It's like he didn't even say like he sat down Brad Stevens
Right.
in a meeting last week. Like he doesn't. He just says stuff that's like. We all know
There's
probably
in the
that.
TV business, you sit down with the producers, just like you would in print with your editors. You just figure out ways to, how can we move the news forward? What can we say? What words can we use to continue this discussion? Doesn't necessarily mean he's breaking anything new, but he's just shifting the discussion in a different direction. So yeah, 100%. Sometimes you have to go on there and create a segment, right? And fill 20 minutes of whatever the topic is that day. So yeah.
Can I say this, Jimmy?
Yeah, but real quick, obviously Shams has tons of, sources, and he's obviously got agents on, speed dial and whatnot, but it doesn't mean that everything he says you have to, run with.
I just think about what the source is. Like, I don't think he's making it up. So where's it coming from?
But what
Like,
is
I
he
don't
even
think the
saying
team-
though? Like I'm annoyed at myself because we gave Derrick and Jalen, the trade rumors, so much buzz, and they were never close to being traded. They were literally not even being shopped around. And the reason that we keep talking about it is because the whole summer, Shams was like, people want.
Yeah, but don't you feel like this is a little different?
No, not really. I think it's exactly the same.
So you don't think this came from Tatum's camp?
No, I don't think so.
All right. If it didn't, then
Maybe I'm wrong. But
I'm with you. I'll say this. I hate to interrupt the segment here, Jimmy, but the bases are
no,
loaded.
I just should probably interrupted.
Oh, what's going on? Tell me.
The bases are loaded in the bottom of the ninth of Game 7 of the World Series.
What's the score? Who's winning?
And there are
4-4.
people on this show right now. That's actually hilarious.
It's 4-4. Jeez. Now everyone's gonna
4-4,
be.
bottom
It's
of
okay.
the ninth.
People got
And-
people are watching us on their computers or on their tablets, and they've got the game on TV. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Let us know what happens.
Do you remember
guys-
93, Jimmy? Wasn't that a walk-off too in Game 7, I think?
I was 6, Bobby, so I'm not that old.
Okay.
I don't remember how that one went. But I just for the record, I want Toronto to win this game. I want that on record.
Well, it looks
Even
like
though
they're about to. Went out.
Even though Shohei's my guy. Did you guys hear?
Shout out to Toronto. That's my city, baby.
Did you guys hear barking?
No.
I think it was this guy getting out of the
Baylor loser mindset.
doghouse. Baylor fireman.
Oh my
Play hard,
god.
try to impact the game in a positive way, just try to make winning plays, whether that's making shots or diving on the ground or getting illegal screens. It's kind of my mindset coming into every game.
Joe told us he feels like you've kind of been building. Have you felt that?
Yeah, I think like I said, every game I come in and just try to make a positive impact with whatever time I'm given, and at the end of the day, I can rest my head knowing that I'm coming in just playing hard, trying to do my best.
I think you drew 2 offensive fouls in this game. Is that something that you take pride in, specifically that play? Is that something you're looking out for?
Yeah, I think so. I think, there's a lot of times throughout the game, especially where you can get those, and I think those are big plays, able to get the ball back, and, I think I'm pretty good at, having that feel of when to do it.
In general, this past training camp, preseason, like how have you just been feeling acclimating going into your second year? Have you been feeling more comfortable?
Yeah, for sure. I think, obviously, like you said, it's my second year. I kind of knew what to expect coming into preseason and then even just these games. And so I think it kind of gives me a peace of mind when I'm going throughout the season, knowing there's going to be highs and lows and just being able to stay steady and ride those and just be ready whenever my number's called.
Baylor, it looks like Joe's yelling at you to pick up full court more. Whenever you make a shot, miss a shot, like easier can you do that? How comfortable have you felt in this new defense, and is that something specifically he's asking to do?
Yeah, I think he's asked that of everybody, not just me. And, we're trying to, obviously play fast and, pick up full court. And that's something that I'm getting more and more comfortable with and enjoy enjoying doing that when I'm up there. I think it helps me kind of get in the rhythm, being able to get into the ball and kind of get the juices flowing when I get in there.
You've had a few nights where you've played like 3 or 4 minutes. It seems like that would be hard as a basketball player to try to find a flow, but that's what you're kind of being asked to do. How do you kind of approach those kinds of stints?
Yeah, you try to just make an impact wherever you can. Like you said, it is tough, to get in a flow when you're only in there for 2.5, 3 minutes, but you try to just make winning plays, whether that's boxing out, making a cut that frees up someone else. It's the little things. It's not necessarily, everything that shows up in a stat sheet.
How nice was it tonight to get that extended run, but also see that you're able to impact the game in other ways?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely nice. Obviously, would have liked to win at the end of the day, so can't really be too excited about it. But it's something to look forward to coming along.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Baylor. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so silver lining type segment here coming up. Noah's glowing right now.
It's just funny because that's the title of my podcast for tomorrow. There's a silver lining.
There always is. And Baylor's a guy that
I might have to get a new title now.
Yes, I just ruined it for you. Sorry. Baylor's a guy that's been, kind of on the end of the bench here for a bit, but get some good playing time tonight. 22 minutes, 17 points, a team high 17 points, 4 or 5 from 3. Where's he on the hierarchy or the totem pole of bench guys here? Is he somebody that might find himself getting a little bit more playing time, or is this just a one-off because of the score? Throw it over to you guys. Is it Baylor versus Ugo right now? Is trying to fill that rotation? I mean, they're both give you different things, I think. So I think could be game dependent, but thoughts on Baylor tonight and just in general post-game, his comments. Start with Noah.
I think in general it's just good to see him, make some shots. That's been the number one concern for him, I think, is the fact that he's been – Bobby, is this the baseball game?
What is happening, Bobby?
Sorry.
You can talk about it if you want.
Be a professional.
They got the game-winning run, Jimmy, out at home on a force out by like an inch. And then
so who won?
With 2 outs, the left fielder just ran back like 100 yards, smashed into the center fielder, and they caught it.
So it's going in extras? Oh, my God. That's crazy. Okay, Noah, let's get back to Baylor.
You were impressed by him tonight, Noah.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good. To be honest with you, I thought he looked better in the last couple games, but he's played like 90 seconds. So it's like, how much can we talk about the 90 seconds or 3 minutes of game action that he got? Tonight, he gets a more extended run. He scores 17 points, 6 of 7 shooting. Looked confident, looked like he was more active. Everybody plays better when their shots are going in, and I thought that you could kind of see that the confidence being more contagious. But the number one issue that Baylor's had so far is that he's a player that plays with swag and with confidence and looking for his shot. And it's hard to come in and be the guy that's getting, just making a cut to open the floor for somebody else, which is what he just said that is his, his priority in those 3 minutes. So what, to your point, Bobby, about like, what do you, or was it Jimmy, that, Ugo, Baylor, like, what are you getting with each of those players? I think you're getting completely different things. I think with Ugo, you're getting a guy who can really compete on the defensive end to a degree that Baylor cannot at this point, at least not that I've seen. Maybe there's stuff that I just haven't seen. Baylor is right now supposedly the better shooter and also somebody that can potentially have the ball in his hand a little bit more as a kind of secondary playmaker. Like, that's in theory what you're getting with both of those players. Mm-hmm. I think we've seen Ugo reach his potential and kind of do what is advertised better than Baylor so far this season. But if Baylor's like a knockdown shooter, which is a big if, because we haven't really seen that yet in the NBA, then he can provide some valuable minutes for you. But if he's not scoring, like that's where I think he's finding himself on the outskirts of the rotation, because Ugo can do the other things, the crashing, the defending better already, and so that makes it hard.
So. Yeah, and it was interesting to see them pivot away from Ugo after the early fouls here, and obviously Tillman and Garza in favor of Boucher. Like, they tried some different things in this game, and you obviously saw those guys bringing different skill set to the table than some of the other guys there, as we've talked about. They have a variety of options off the bench here. With Shireman, theoretically, you get the best of every world there. If he can improve the defense, if he can knock down shots, if he can play make too. So I like that they're keeping him in play here. And that's what they've done, Noah, right? Like, they've played him a little bit in every game here. Last night was weird, where he comes in for the 50 seconds, then they swap him out, then they swap him back in. They've done a lot of that with him. So he hasn't been able to find a steady flow. But I'll say this, and this might not be why they're doing this, but it might be the effect that comes out of it, is I've said this a million times. He does need to start to tailor his game a little bit more toward playing a role rather than, as he has been his whole life, being the star, handling the ball a ton, taking a ton of shots. And when you see him out there, he's still in that mindset of like, be aggressive, look for his shot, dribble into the paint, play make, those sort of things. And that's great if he can do that at this level, but he's struggled so far to do that at this level. So is it becoming a great catch and shoot threat? Is it becoming a better defensive stopper like Sam Hauser did? Like, what's going to be his job on this team? Because I hate to say this because you never know where a guy's career is going to go, but just based off what we've seen so far, he's not going to be a top option who gets a ton of shots and a ton of reps on the ball and that sort of thing on this team, though. Is that fair to say?
Muted. You're muted. We need
Based
to
off
muted.
what we've seen so far, you know, when you get muted and you're like, should I say what I just said, or should that be like a sign that I should come up with something better to say? I'll repeat. I think based off what we've seen so far, for sure, you know, he hasn't looked like somebody that's going to be a top scoring option when he's on the floor. And I think we've talked about this extensively when it comes to Baylor, is that he doesn't do one thing exceptionally. He does a bunch of things pretty good, and that's not always the best recipe for success in the league. But you guys know this. I do like his game, and I do think that I still see the vision if it can all come together, and his level of compete has to be through the roof at all times. And when you see Ugo play, Ugo, you know, has that. He competes 100% at all times, and he's the better athlete of the two. So Baylor has to do that as well. Not that it's like between those two guys, because there's other factors in play here, but in theory, like that's the only way he's gonna get on the court.
Ugo's just so perfectly suited to play a role too. Sorry, Jimmy, this is my last point on this. And I asked Joe before the game tonight, like, because, you know, I've done a little research on the Real Madrid stuff and what he did over there and the role he played. And there is this like great story of him coming into a game against, I think, this Greek team. I think Evan Fournier was playing in Greece. Obviously, Evan Fournier is the star over there, and he's, you know, the best player on the team and all that. And things weren't going great in the game, and they threw him out there to guard Fournier and just pick him up and defend him full court and all that. So I thought maybe that's what inspired this role he's playing right now for Joe, but Joe said that wasn't quite the case. He just worked his way into this role. But when you look at all the stuff Ugo does now, like diving on the floor, active on the boards, setting a few screens here or there, not super active in that area yet, but also knocking down a three here and there. And he can dribble just enough where if he really has to make a play, he can. I love that assist to Hauser last night. That game to me, like, it didn't resonate in the moment, but when I went back and watched it, because John called it the Ugo game, Jimmy. That felt a little strong in the moment, but man, was it the Ugo game. He was everywhere. The chase down, the dives, the assist to Hauser. There was just so much stuff from that game that was out of this world. So whether it's because he's done in Real or he's just better suited to do that, or he's just a better player than some of these other guys, which is certainly the case too. Obviously, a lot of people really thought this guy was like a top 5-10 prospect. He just seems better suited based off what this team's doing right now to contribute night in and night out than Shireman, Boucher, unfortunately, who I had a lot of hope for going in this year.
Boucher got it going a little bit in this one, but yeah. My question for Ugo is, for you guys about Ugo, is this. And somebody, you know, I asked for questions on Twitter earlier, and one of the questions I got was, is Ugo actually good, or is he just the shiny new toy? And I think that's harsh. I think he, you know, I don't think he's
actually good.
Yeah, I don't think he's the shiny new toy. My question is, it looks to me like the last thing that's going to come is the shot. I don't think it's a pretty shot. I think his offense is far away. I think he can contribute because of the effort and, you know, defensive, you know, presence that he has out there and running around and the energy he can give you. But if the offense never quite comes around, is he still somebody that you feel can help this team? You know, does he necessarily have to develop, you know, a top offensive game, or can he just be a role player and do the things that he needs to do to help the team win games and he's not the go-to guy or he's not a guy that they look to hit the corner three. Is that an option, or does he need to develop an offensive game to have a chance, on this team or in this league? It doesn't look like the offense is anywhere close, to be completely honest.
Could be worse.
The shot, I should say.
Doesn't look bad.
I think it looks kind of bad.
Really?
Kind of a slow release too.
Yeah, it's a little slow.
What is he so far overall?
I'm not worried about his offense personally. It's ahead of where I thought it would be, considering how young and
I mean, we thought he'd be in Maine.
Right.
So
before preseason,
like it's pretty remarkable that he has an every night role on this team right now, and he's doing pretty well with it. And Joe said before the game
tonight. You see that, Bobby?
What's that?
Well, here's the thing, Noah.
Yeah.
If it goes over 15, are you right?
15 plus was what my prediction was. So
come on, Bobby.
Wow.
Come on.
I wasn't paying attention.
I think that listen. I think that
Noah's always right.
Ugo's definitely doing enough to earn the playing time, and I'm not necessarily sure the other guys on that bench are. So I think Noah might be onto something there with that bold prediction, certainly. And if he can help you win, if he plays, it's pretty obvious. Joe wants guys that are going to go out there and do what they've practiced, what they've preached. He wants them to play hard, play smart. And if he sees something that he doesn't like, they're getting the hook. And so whichever guys, these younger guys, these more inexperienced guys, realize that first are going to be the guys that are going to get the playing time. And that's just as simple as it's going to be. He's not going to let these guys play through mistakes like he would with the starters the last couple of years because they're all veterans and he wouldn't call timeouts and he wouldn't change things. It feels like it's a completely different mindset with, the rotational guys. And so I think that everybody has an opportunity right now. And if it's Ugo that's running with it, great. If it's Baylor, even better. I think you're just looking for something. So let's do final thoughts and we'll get everybody out of here so that we can cash in this World Series. Where are they next? Celtics next.
Boston on Monday against the Jazz, who are actually decent.
Okay.
Bad time.
It was they lost 118-96 to Phoenix, and they play tomorrow in Charlotte, so they'll be coming in on back-to-back. But the number I saw coming into this one, Rockets number 1 in offensive rebounding, Jazz number 2. So you're going to get another tough battle on the boards against a big team with Markkanen and Walker Kessler, who a lot of Celtics fans like. So we said it coming in. Is any game going to be easy for the Celtics this year? Now we're about to see the Jazz and the Wizards and the Nets of the world. Are these going to be easy games for the Celtics?
There's no easy games.
Austin
asking the question.
There's no easy games, and that's kind of what.
Revenge game.
Oh, you think so? I think that's kind of what John's been saying. Is there's no, the Celtics are the easy game for a lot of teams.
John's been saying Steve revenge game.
No, he's been saying that there are no easy games.
Who else?
And
There's another guy.
Formerly Jaden.
Yeah.
Speaking of former guys, your favorite Maine player, JD Davison, made his return to Boston tonight. That was nice.
So
did you guys say hi?
I was gonna say earlier.
Yeah, we did. We talked to him in the locker room.
If you only pay attention to Bobby and Noah reports, Jimmy, exclusive interview JD Davison with Noah and I before the game up on YouTube.
Story dropping soon.
Wow, you guys got the exclusive, huh?
We got the exclusive.
Yeah. Love that.
You're not gonna want to miss it.
That's the type of content you can expect on CLNS, everybody. So fire up that YouTube page tomorrow. We've got the Celtics coverage, obviously, Monday.
Tomorrow, you can get it tonight. It's already out.
You can get it tonight, but fire it up tomorrow, Sunday. You're poking around the house.
You don't want to watch the JD interview right now. Watch the game.
We've got Celtics. We've got Patriots coverage. The Bruins won today. World Series is going to end at some point tonight, and baseball offseason will begin. We'll have you covered with whatever the Red Sox do or don't do. Hopefully they do some things. So exciting times over at CLNS. I want to thank Bobby and Noah for joining us. I want to thank the podfather himself, Nick Gelso, for starting the show with me. John Zanis, we know you're watching somewhere. We'll see you next week. And everybody else, thanks for sticking around. Thank you to PrizePicks. It's good to be right, obviously. Bobby, you wouldn't know. Noah would. Go Blue
Jimmy, you're
Jays.
like the funniest
Jimmy, this
guy
is a
alive,
great
according to
outro.
Noah.
This is a great outro.
This is it. This is what it's all about. Ime, hit me with the outro.